Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdsson of World Alternative Media here, and today we're checking in on Canada, a land I am from, a land I am currently living in, and really a country that is just not very serious at all anymore. And I wanted to delve into some of these crazy things that are all simultaneously happening in Canada right now, with people being arrested at the side of the road and in their homes for mental health issues just because of things they post online, things they've said, and ideas they have. Police coming to their homes and testing them. By testing, I mean they talk to them for a psychiatrist talks to them for 2 seconds and then deems them mentally unfit and involuntarily forces them into a psychiatric ward. Really crazy stuff, and it's happening to quite a few people, though one of the more famous examples is this gentleman by the name of Nicolas Jordan Wagter, a 27-year-old, but it's happening to others, and I'm seeing a lot of new videos come up from a woman named Kaylee. We're going to get into this and some of the other crazy things police are doing in Canada, including coming after extremist people that have traditional values, because apparently if you have traditional values, you're an extremist, but you're not an extremist if you're starting a giant Sikh militia driving around with guns on the back of a truck. Interesting how all this works. And if you're watching the sunset on the beach, you best leave the beach because you will be arrested. Really crazy stuff is happening in Canada. So we're going to get into that and more today, my friends. But before we do, I urge you guys to check those links below, including a very important one from our friend Chris Horlacher, who we did a video with recently regarding targeted harassment and gang stalking, a real thing. He has a receipt. Our video exposed government gang stalking is real is there on Rumble. I urge people to check it out and check out EQUIBITlawsuit.com. That is EQUIBITlawsuit.com. He's currently suing the Canadian government for mass surveillance, for harassment, for targeting him and others in this country. This is a precedent-setting case. And when you go to, and he has all the receipts. Like I said, he has all the evidence there. And this is really important stuff. You can go to EQUIBITlawsuit.com and you could take action, whether it be donating or spreading the word or emailing the Attorney General or emailing oversight bodies or emailing UN Special Rapporteur on torture or email human rights NGOs. This is very important. We need to get the word out on this. So we appreciate Chris Horlacher for helping sponsor our video today. And also, not just that, I've known the guy for over a decade, and he is a very smart guy. He was the youngest CFO in Canadian history and someone who runs multiple companies. He's not some crazy person on the internet. This guy has a massive resume, and I urge people to go and support him by going to EQUIBITlawsuit.com. Also, quickly, I just want to mention our link for frontierfarm.com. It's, again, linked in the description, where you can get chlorine dioxide through DeoxyCare. I love chlorine dioxide, and there you can get toothpaste and other stuff for oral care, skin care, veterinary care, and nasal care, things for colds and flus, including Snoot, which I think is really cool. Chlorine dioxide, in my opinion, is life-saving to me. I absolutely love it. It's helped me so much over the years. And finally, it's in a bottle, and it's in a way, marketed in a way where you can actually order that into your home and not have to worry about going through strange websites. Frontier Farm has many years of, bringing this kind of stuff to people, going back to 1993. I urge people to check that out and use code WHAM, W-A-M. You'll save money on your order when you use that code and get that chlorine dioxide in your home today. And again, as always, hit that like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit subscribe if you have not yet already. Now, let's get into the first video of this person being harassed by police in her home with a psychologist around her, determining that she needs to go to a mental hospital. Yet, by the way, I just want to quickly mention, if you want to cut off a 4-year-old boy's penis, you don't have to go to a mental hospital. That's considered normal, and you're an extremist if you're against it. Yet somehow you make some posts on Facebook or you say some negative things about the government. Well, we'll get into all that. But people that seem rather normal are being, and indiscriminately accused of being mentally unwell and forced into a psychiatric facility. So, Canada 2026. Let's see this.
On to drive, so that's what the officers do to make sure that you're safe. Yeah, make sure you got it.
And our body cam footage, this is public record if you want a copy of this. It's recorded.
No, like I don't understand why I have to go against my will somewhere. This is so, I don't feel comfortable going there.
Who would you want me to put on here for them to contact when you're done to come pick you up? Is there somebody that you would like me to have added to this?
So you're telling me I have to go right now? Mm-hmm. For what? What's the reason?
Just to go talk to the doctors to make sure that you're safe, because it does. I'm going to use the word. I'm going to use the words paranoid.
What have I? Excuse me?
Like that you're worried.
Are you a medical doctor?
I'm a mental health therapist.
And you sat down with me for what? How long?
Yeah.
How long, ma'am?
Long enough to be able to fill this out.
What? Because you sat down with me for 2 seconds, so you're gonna tell me I'm paranoid after meeting me for 2 seconds.
I'm gonna say that I see symptoms of that, but the doctor, I'm not a doctor, has to assess.
And what?
What if I decided that this woman seems paranoid about her being paranoid? Maybe I can get a mental health specialist to agree with me on that, because, you know, the people that are taking her in pay these mental health specialists. So, of course, they're paid to do as the police tell them and not come up with an actual reasonable assessment. And by the way, why are they even sending these people to people's houses in the first place? What kind of country are we living in?
What's your first name?
This
Kayla. Is absolutely crazy.
Can I speak to her?
Her name's Kayla or Kaylee, I can't remember. But she posted this on Instagram, and I haven't seen it going around much. I haven't seen many people talking about it. And so I downloaded it from Instagram to show it to you guys today. And actually, while I'm at it, I should probably just figure out what her name was. I'm going to find it on Instagram. My phone's not on me. Anyway, I know it's Kayla or Kaylee or something. And I find it really, really concerning that on top of this, we've all seen the millions of videos from the COVID stuff where Canadian government was coming to people's doors and questioning them over Facebook posts and arresting people from going to protests. Remember in like 2020, 2021, when people were going to protests and they were getting arrested for going to protests? And they said you were endangering the public by being outside by yourself. In many cases, a lot of these protests were quite small. Some of them were bigger. Obviously, the trucker convoy was big. And they were outside, and that was endangering people. But 40 cops coming to your door and forcing you into a vehicle, that's not concerning at all. I mean, it's crazy. Our friend Todd McDougall, who started Winnipeg Alternative Media with me back in 2013, was one of those people arrested multiple times and was banned from going to protests. Like, no free speech in Canada. And, you know, things you say on Facebook can get you arrested. Absolutely crazy. And of course, now we have mental health specialists going to people's doors calling people mental. Meanwhile, people who are actually crazy mentally ill are on the streets and actually promoted by modern day culture. We are not living in a serious country. And for those in the United States that are watching, this is coming to a place near you soon. In fact, it already is in many cases. A lot of people have in places like New Jersey and California have been arrested and have had people come to their doors regarding Facebook posts and stuff they've said. FBI showing up. Crazy, crazy stuff. Now, a famous case is this Nicolas Jordan Wagter guy, which it all came under the Mental Health Act. Let's see what would happen here. Like, this is the post that came out regarding this, and he was pulled over in Vancouver, not far from where I am. Concerns me big time, by Car 87 mental health crisis team. May 23rd, 2026. Let's see what this was. Many of you may have seen the video before, but in case you haven't, either way, if you have, it's good to listen to and be reminded of. It's 2 minutes and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is Dr. Emery. He's a resident psychiatrist, senior resident. He's on a rotation with the Car 87. We're part of a program that includes Vancouver Coastal Health and the Vancouver Police. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we go to people when there's different reasons that come up. Every case is a little different, and we go to people to see them where they are, especially if there's been issues with trying to find them and talk to them. So in your case, I think you were certified under the Mental Health Act just, I don't know how long ago, but like maybe 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. Were you aware of that? Dr. Taylor saw you in a cafe. She didn't certify you. I think you filmed part of it. And then she spoke with your family, got some more information, and
Okay.
you're going to have to turn that off.
So just one sec.
Yeah.
What the officer just told me is that you and I can set up a meeting and we can chat then. So why don't we do that, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not turning the camera off. I have a legal right to keep the camera on. If you don't want to make the appointment now, we can do it at another time. But that's what the officer just asked that we do. So why don't we do that?
So I'm going to certify you under the Mental Health Act. We're going to bring you to hospital, do testing on you, and you're going to talk to a psychiatrist in a controlled environment because we don't believe that you're going to attend an appointment.
I won't attend. I've never been given a chance to attend an appointment.
So he's certified.
I've never been given a chance to attend an appointment.
Okay.
What is going on? I was never given a psych eval or nothing. He just looked at me and said, "You're certified."
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know why, but it's up to the doctor. So if you.
But no, he didn't even give me an eval. He just looked at me and said, "I'm certified, man."
I get that.
Please consider what you're doing, and please think about the fact that I'm more than happy to come in for an appointment. I'm happy to go through and do everything properly. Okay, I've been completely compliant with everything.
Yes, you've been really good with me, Nicholas. But listen, that's his call, and unfortunately, we can't go back on that.
He hasn't talked to me.
You have to get checked out by a doctor.
You're interacting with me at a very regular.
So this is absolutely crazy. And just so you know, Nicolas Jordan Wagter is a 27-year-old honors medical biophysicist. He was arrested essentially over them certifying him crazy due to opinions they do not like. He has a master's in innovation management at U of T, published peer-reviewed author in Frontiers in Computational Neuroscience, was pulled over in Vancouver May 23rd, 2026 by a police and a Car 87 mental health crisis team. He's been locked in a psychiatric ward ever since. His offense? Handing out a document in coffee shops. The document, titled China Vancouver Attempt, cites CSIS, RCMP, NSICOP, and the Hague Commission on Foreign Interference. It connects dots between the CCP, influence operations, illegal police stations, UNDRIP sovereignty issues, and federal bills C8, C9, C15, which I'm going to go into C8 shortly, and I did a video on it before as well, and C21. I've also talked about that. Whether you agree with every line or not, he's citing official Canadian intelligence reports. This is in tinfoil hat territory. These are documents Canada's own spy agencies produced. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And it says, here's where it gets dystopian. A psychiatrist, Dr. Christine Taylor of Vancouver Coastal Health, reportedly spotted Wagner in a cafe, not a clinical setting, not during a scheduled evaluation. In a Tim Hortons, she observed him, consulted his family, issued a Form 4 certification under BC's Mental Health Act. Wagter was never notified, never given a voluntary assessment option, never told that he'd been certified until police surrounded his vehicle 3 weeks later. The officer's own words on body cam captured by Wagter. Dr. Taylor saw you in a cafe. She didn't certify you then. And then she spoke with your family, got more information, and you're going to have to turn that camera off. Turn the camera off, of course. When Wagter, calm, compliant, repeatedly offered to come in voluntarily for an appointment, refused to stop filming, Dr. Emery, senior resident, Car 87, certified him a second time on the spot. Designation, Vancouver General Hospital, involuntary psychiatric ward, no judge, no hearing, no due process, just a psychiatrist who didn't like what she saw in a coffee shop. And by the way, this was posted by Tony Saruga, on X. And he does a lot of, went into the BC's Mental Health Act, the legal black hole, the sluggish schizophrenia playbook, how the system's rigged, the family factor where they can get people that disagree with your opinions to actually speak on in terms against you, which they could definitely do to me because, my mother or father, maybe not, my sister, maybe not. But of course, if we're talking about the extended family, I'm sure that they could do that. To me, it's just, this is so beyond Orwellian. And he has other videos here where he's at the facility. Check this out.
So I had some eggs and stuff for breakfast this morning.
Are they going to force medicate you? Or are they going to force psychotics on you? Or are they going to force SSRIs, which are extremely dangerous on you?
Yeah. They didn't put drapes, so I had to tape this up because
no, you can't look outside.
My window didn't have drapes. And so all night, there's just light beaming into my room. So I couldn't sleep last night, so I demanded that they give me tape and stuff to put on my windows so that I could sleep tonight.
Oh, and now they're going to call him crazy for that. So he put that stuff on his window so he could sleep because there's lights blasting in his window. That's a form of torture, by the way.
I'm like one of the only rooms that has no drapes. Shangri-La, baby. So I had some
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And this is all for having an opinion. An accomplished biophysicist. So if it can happen to him, oh yes, indeed, it can happen to you. Meanwhile, Canadian police are showing up to a woman's house for making TikTok videos exposing newcomers crapping on Wasaga Beach in Ontario. There's a very famous video of a guy crapping on the beach. And the guys from India. Well, that led to police coming to the person's door, because why do anything about the person endangering other people's health by doing that in front of children when they could go to the person that filmed it? Because, you know, no accountability.
It was a big shock to me to open my door to see the officer asking me to come out and then stepping in and having a whole conversation about what I'm posting on social media, which is harming nobody. I want people to know because it is a biohazard. It's the safety and well-being of the kids and the visitors that want to go use the beach.
I've had to yell at people for on the borderline property line of my backyard. They're digging holes and they're pooping and putting tents up because they don't want to go to the washroom.
Somebody called in about somebody posting things on TikTok about defecating on.
It was a big shock to me to open my door to see the officer.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's just one of many examples of this happening. Now we see the true colors of the Canadian government. This person wrote thugs and showed this image of Canadian police on horseback trampling people, including an elderly woman with a walker, on purpose because they didn't support the vaccine mandates. That is Canada 2020. Well, in the 2020s in general. Meanwhile, in Canada, it says from Concerned Citizen, this is from February, Canadian police, the radicalization in general, if people express traditional values, then that might be a sign they are becoming an extremist. Let's hear.
So radicalization in general quite often will show by people isolating themselves and changing their behavior, like changing what they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist. Like, and if someone you know was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards like traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist. Well,
I am so screwed here in Canada. This is why I was living in Mexico for so long. One of the many reasons, because it was just a more free country, and people can laugh about that all they want. Oh, what about the things that I saw on the news? It's not that way at all in reality. And, you know, coming back to Canada wasn't my choice, but I'm here. And I see this kind of stuff, and I'm like, man, if someone just starts leaning away from, you know, the actual radicals, by the way, the commie collectivist mantra, and supports traditional rights in any way, family with kids, they have kids, they're a family, maybe they go to church, you know, maybe they eat healthy, then they could be a radical extremist according to Canadian police. Totally insane stuff, my friends. Meanwhile, we have this here. Heavily armed Sikh men cruising BC with guns in hands. I'm all for gun rights. It's just, you know, I find it interesting what they call extreme and what they call totally normal. Like, what's with that? What is this? What is this a commercial for? Very stuff. Probably nothing. But, you know, listen. That's not extreme according to them. The Khalistan army that's in Canada now is not extremist at all, but traditional values are, because they want to destroy the culture of whatever is remaining of the culture in this country, in Canada, as well as in the United States, as well as in the UK, as well as in Australia, as well as in New Zealand, as well as throughout Europe, as well as all of the Western world in general. And, you know, the hypocrisy of it is insane. And then get this. I mean, we're talking about so many ridiculous things here. And by the way, there's a billion things I couldn't fit into this video today. But these are Canadian federal police that aren't even from Canada in the first place, by the way. Threatening to arrest people for watching the sunset in British Columbia.
I'm not you're the very first officers I've seen here in 11 years that say, whoop, get the fuck out. Like, people watch the sunset and take a photo 10 minutes after because the color of the sky. That's time to go. I hear your words. I'm just saying. I'm not going to argue with you. I hear your words. I'm asking you if they changed it today because this is the only time this is enforced the way that you're enforcing it.
Vancouver says sunset is the time of beach closing. Sunset today is 21:06.
Okay, we come.
It is 21:06. It's time to go. Have a good night, sir.
I heard your words. I'm just saying.
We're done here. We're leaving. We're time to go.
People watch the sunset. They take a photo of the sunset.
Yeah. How dare you watch the sunset? How dare you watch the sunset with all the people walking around the street, high on drugs, swinging machetes at people? I'm from Winnipeg. I've seen some awful, horrible things. I've been attacked many times. Look at my nose. I broke it 5 times in my life growing up in Winnipeg. And that was back then, and it's gotten a lot worse since then. Break-ins on houses, businesses being burned down by mafias. And then, of course, on top of that in BC, you know, you have just all these people laying on the streets, shooting up drugs in front with your kids present when they're walking down the street. Just ridiculous stuff, insane stuff. But, you know, what are these police officers focused on? Well, people were watching the sunset, extremism, enjoying nature, extremism. The same government that pretends to be environmentalist. Enjoying nature? No, we can't do that. Remember, they were arresting people last year for camping, which is something they do often. So again, it's just, and then who's actually starting those fires, by the way, in British Columbia? Who's actually starting them? And who benefits? I always ask, cui bono, who benefits? Now, this is where Canada's at today. We have this. An older Canadian homeowner finds 4 people on his rural property in the middle of the night stealing his fuel, and he fired warning shots to get them to surrender, and then called police. The police charged him when they arrived. 6 charges. Check this out. This is from Manitoba, my home province, Winnipeg, just outside of Winnipeg.
A group of suspected thieves caught red-handed on his property. The 66-year-old man is accused of firing shots towards their vehicles before police arrived. And now he's charged along with the alleged crooks. Standing by live with the latest is CTV's Daniel Helmerson. So Daniel, what charges is the property owner facing?
6 firearm-related charges, merely 2 counts each of careless use of a firearm, using a firearm in the commission of an offense, and discharging a firearm in a reckless manner. This is where it all went down late Saturday night on a rural property in the RM of Dufferin. A motion-activated security camera alerted the homeowner when 2 vehicles had entered his property. And when he went to investigate, police say he saw 4 people transferring fuel from a portable container into one of their vehicles, which turned out to be stolen from Saskatchewan. That's when the homeowner, who had a gun, confronted them and fired shots towards both vehicles. 3 of the suspects remained at the scene until Mounties arrived, but the 4th got away in one of the vehicles. And speaking of those vehicles, Marilee, the one which remained on scene was found to have a number of stolen items from the rural property inside of it.
So, Danny, why did RCMP lay charges against the homeowner who, by all accounts, was trying to protect his property?
Well, we asked police that, and here's what they had to say.
Because you don't have property anymore in Canada. There's no such thing as property anymore in Canada. As long as, you know, as far as, well, we can always look at property taxes and all that, but all the insane amounts of rules and regulations they have over it, the whole idea is you will own nothing and you'll be happy. Of course, that's the World Economic Forum's policy, but I'll continue here for the last 15 seconds of this.
Say Canadians may take reasonable steps to protect themselves or their property, but any force used must be reasonable and proportionate in the circumstances.
It's 1 guy versus 4 guys. How is that not reasonable to shoot off a gun? He didn't shoot them.
Circumstances, including the nature of the threat. Generally speaking,
So it says, generally speaking, property owners should prioritize their own safety during these situations and call police rather than confront intruders themselves. You know, when and it's in the middle of nowhere. Do you know how hard it would be, how long it would be until police got there? Around like Dufferin and Carmen and these places in Manitoba, it's so ridiculous. When, you know, seconds matter, police are only minutes away, as they say. And in that situation, probably, you know, 20 or 30 minutes away. I've had situations in Canada. When I was 14, I got surrounded by a group of guys, and when I was walking to a girlfriend's house at the time, and surrounded by these guys, and just relentlessly beat and kicked my head like a football into a brick wall, between a mailbox and a brick wall, and just kept hitting me, and I couldn't even move. It's like all these guys were on top of me, hitting me at the same time, and stole my stuff, and they stole my money and all that, but they stole a digital camera, I remember, and all that, and they threw it in the river. Like, they didn't even want the stuff. They just wanted to beat someone up for no reason. And one of them actually went to prison for attempted murder over that one, because I knew the guy when I was a kid. Just a random thing to mention. When I was 4 years old, I called the ambulance when I saw him get hit by a car in front of my house. I was about 4 years old, and I called 911 because I think my parents were in the backyard having, talking with a group of friends or something, and called 911 and probably helped save the guy's life. And then 10 years later, he was about 6 at the time, so he would have been 16 when he attacked me, and he was with a group of guys that were like 20. Anyway, beat the crap out of me at 14. And I remember going to my girlfriend at the time's place, and her mother came to the door, and I was covered in blood. And I said, "Hey, I need help." And I blah blah blah. They called the police. Police took 4 hours. The police station was 1 block away. I also mentioned just the total apathy among Canadians. Countless people walked by, walking their dogs, and with other groups of people that are much bigger than these guys that were attacking me, and just watched it happen, looked at it, and just kept going. Like, just absolute complacence and apathy in Canada. It's absolutely insane. And that was back in 2008. So, again, we are the Canadian population has been so weakened, culture destroyed, and anyone that speaks out about it is an extremist. And yet, if you're in a militia, you're not an extremist. If you're a seeker, whatever it is, and if you're burning down houses, or if you're trying to transition your child, no extremism there. But if you have traditional values, you're an extremist. And then police will try to arrest you for a Facebook post, call you mentally unfit, put you in a mental institution involuntarily. They'll try to get you to commit to MAID, which we'll get into in a moment, medical assistance in death. They will try to arrest you for watching the sunset. They will, arrest you for, defending your own property from 4 people. It's 4 versus 1. Shooting a gun in the air is not above reasonable use of force in that situation at all. Now, oh my goodness, the gentleman that was charged with this, look at him.
Carmen resident George hitting his property. Can't believe
he's in a wheelchair. He's in a wheelchair. But him versus 4 guys, how dare they? One of these people says, he hit neighbor's house with the warning shots. 1 bullet may have hit somewhere on the roof or something of the neighbor's house, which is unfortunate. But that is not what he's charged with at all. This guy is being hit as, you used excessive force. He's in a wheelchair, and he's versus 4 people who are stealing stuff from all over the place and breaking onto people's properties, including in rural communities. He has every right, in my opinion, to shoot warning shots. Meanwhile, this is what the kind of stuff that happens in Canada. Canadian Jewish police officer decides not to issue a speeding ticket after learning the driver is also Jewish, saying that law doesn't apply to them.
I'm not going to give you a ticket right now because I'm going to give you the courtesy of being a member of Hatzola in Quebec, and I ask that you slow down here in Muncie and you have a safe trip back home.
Thank you so much. You're kind. I wish the police officers in Montreal would be like you.
Reb Shaya ben Reb Moshe.
There you go.
Annoying, isn't it? Very annoying. And like I said, coming to a place near you. Meanwhile, and like I said, it's not a serious country. This is Justin Trudeau, former prime minister, hanging out with his so-called girlfriend, Katy Perry, dancing in a HomeSense store, which, by the way, there's no way that they just happened. They said, it's his son's music on the radio, and so they decided to take a video. There's no way he's in there by himself with her. There's no way. They obviously shut down the store, told him to put on that music, and made this crappy video while he dances around with a plunger. Check this out.
I can give you some kind of meat, baby.
So cringe. So cringe. This guy was as a prime minister. Remember, I confronted him many times, and I myself was put on a watch list for asking him questions at press conferences. And I've been arrested trying to talk to him. I mean, it's just not a serious country. Canadian police reveal they are respecting the gunman's preferred gender pronouns. He transitioned at 12. This is regarding a guy or a person. I don't even know I didn't even look into the story if it was a boy or a girl originally. But nonetheless, a mass murderer in Canada that committed to a mass shooting.
We're not hiding it. In fact, you're the first media to ask the question. I will say this. We identified the suspect as they chose to be identified in public and in social media. I can say that Jesse was born as a biological male who approximately, the information that I have, approximately 6 years ago began to transition to female and identified as female both socially and we're not.
So a boy transitioned at 12 allegedly. This is Canada. Into a woman and then murdered people, and now they got to respect his pronouns. Meanwhile, we found out that Chrystia Freeland, the former and she was the former interim prime minister as well as the deputy prime minister of Canada, had a secret list of extremists and federal blacklist of Freedom Convoy sympathizers. Super illegal. And another example of the spying that we found. Blacklock's reporter published new records showing Chrystia Freeland's office and the RCMP distributed a federal blacklist of Freedom Convoy sympathizers in 2022 to thousands of corporations, including foreign banks like the Bank of China, with no distribution restrictions. Wow. The list targeting trucking companies and individuals linked to the 2022 Ottawa protests against COVID-19 mandates, enabling account freezes under the Emergencies Act that affected millions of funds before the measures were lifted. The blacklist was later subject to legal scrutiny as part of broader challenges to the Act's use, with the post sparking thread comments on accountability, potential class action lawsuits, and demands for those involved to face consequences. This is absolutely craziness. And on top of that, I mentioned earlier Bill C-8, and I did a video on it a while back. I don't know how long ago at this point. You know, there's so many videos I've done recently, but let me see. Canada's new internet kill switch. Yep, Bill C-8. So I did a video 2 months ago on this. I urge people to check it out if you haven't yet already. If you're watching on YouTube, you didn't see it because I was banned, I think, by that point on YouTube for for 2 months. Anyway, and totally crazy stuff. With this, they can essentially arrest you. They could arrest you, but they could also shut down your internet and have every single bit of data of everything you look at, everything you said, all your private messages, everything given to the government. If the government feels like they want to do this, of course, they can shut down your internet. It's a kill switch, essentially, and it's a huge infringement of privacy. Say you have a certain provider. If the provider does not shut down the internet on you as they demand, then they will be facing massive fines. So they are almost guaranteed to shut you down if the government tells them to. There's no freedom left in Canada. And again, it's just this fake semblance of a civilized society on the veneer. And even the veneer is starting to crumble. I mean, this is a country that if someone has a cold or a flu, they can push children to commit suicide. Justin Trudeau, when he was still in office, was mentioning, oh, well, you're poor. Well, you could just commit suicide. Someone goes in with a bad back to the hospital in Canada. Oh, well, you can just commit suicide. Canada's medical assistance in death program is including children and the mentally ill. Like, we are talking about such a level of Orwellian insanity. Canada's MAID program is the subject of ongoing concern among anti-globalist movements across the Western world. The assisted suicide system kills around 15,000 or more Canadians each year and is quickly expanding to include more and more people who are not terminally ill. Almost all assisted suicide programs are created by liberal governments, and all of them are initially promoted as a way to end the suffering of people who are close to death anyway. However, this is merely the first stage of the greater goal, which is to normalize the government-sanctioned killing of almost anyone for any reason. And they've gotten children to commit suicide in this program already. And people that are depressed, kill yourself. What happened to therapy and all that kind of stuff? Now it's kill yourself. It's so insane. This is all happening by design as we have people like Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, a former central banker, pushing this idea of a new world order, which he describes as a massive umbrella over all functional parts of society, from finance to food to health to shipping to housing to everything. You will own nothing and you will be happy, my friends. That is what they are doing. And people are suffering. So when they suffer, like I said, they'll go, just kill yourself. Or if you don't kill yourself, you can come into this new social credit digital ID program where we ration you food like communist Russia after the October Revolution of 1917. But it's going to be, tracked and traced to a digital system, so you don't have to worry about having poverty or dealing with poverty anymore, because you'll just have credits based on your compliance. So everyone will be equally, enslaved. I mean, sorry, equally convenienced. Okay, equally convenienced by being able to just sit at home playing video games all day and do whatever they want, as long as they aren't criticizing the government or going against our rule book, which is sure to be about 30,000 pages of things that you cannot do or say. But it's all about staying in that system. And don't worry, it's not mandated. It's just that if you don't take part in this program, you can't take part in any part of life. So we're not coercing you. No, anyone that says that is an extremist, and make sure to report them immediately to us. Sounds like traditional values to us. Got to do something about those people. I mean, this is so beyond insane at this point. And I barely scratched the surface. It gets so much worse than this. But we're 38 minutes into a video here. And I still can't describe even close to 1% of the insanity in Canada, which, by the way, I always see, China to some degree in a different way, utilizing different propaganda, does the same thing first, and then that's usually followed by Canada or Australia, and then that's usually followed by California and then New York, and then it kind of starts to equalize across the United States, and people are normalized to it. They've demoralized us and they've normalized us to this tyranny. This isn't the world I grew up in anymore. This isn't the world you grew up in anymore, and it's constantly changing, and it's constantly going into a more distressing area of Orwellian conduct, where we have a totalitarian technocratic state controlling what we say or do at all times. And if we did that overnight 30, 40 years ago, people would lose their minds, but they've normalized us to it. They've gone over a slow process to make this happen until we've all just essentially accepted it, because one, out of fatigue, or two, we don't notice it happening. And it doesn't make us angry enough because it's only inch by inch instead of a mile by a mile. But it is a mile by a mile if you zoom out. It's just, it doesn't feel like it because it's just happening, day by day, a little bit by a little bit. Oh my goodness. We are in dark times, but I always urge people to understand there are real world ways to withdraw from the system and reject it. It's not about voting. It's not about putting in a new haircut. Voting isn't going to do anything. People always say, well, if you don't vote, you don't have a right to say anything. But I'm like, but wait, you're voting for the system that enslaves us, 51% of it versus a 49%, which, by the way, it's usually about 25% versus a 75% because of the amount of people that actually vote. But, when we're dealing with this system, it's not about, oh, you can't say anything if you don't vote. No, if you vote, you're literally voting for that system. You're supporting that system and enforcing that tyranny on me and the rest of us. And so if anyone shouldn't be able to say anything, it's those people. I don't support that system. I'm not going to defend that system, and I'm going to withdraw from the system as much as I humanly can. Of course, within the legal confines of Canada, there's some difficulty there, but there are real-world ways that you can do this. Again, having your own property is obviously very important, but food, water, shelter, self-defense, you're not gathering things for the toughest guy on the block, and then, of course, gold and silver, in my opinion, not financial advice, privacy coins, stuff like that. We have links below for that, but storable food, very important. heavensharvest.com/wham. You can get our long-term storable food and use code WHAM, W-A-M, to save 25% on your order of again, long-term storable food that's non-GMO. There's organic kits, heirloom seeds, water filtration and storage, books on how to get started. This is a no-brainer. Go and check it out below. I show from mountaintops over this. Please do it. You can help fight back against the system by making them have to face the consequences of their actions in court. Now, it comes down to you taking action and stuff with people like Chris HORLACHER, and again, I interviewed him recently about this. Pushing back, EQUIBITlawsuit.com, EQUIBITlawsuit.com. Take action there, donate, and help support them if you can. It's precedent setting, and it's important to get done. Again, we have ways to buy physical gold, silver, platinum, or palladium over at firstnationalbullion.com/schedule-consult/. Has to be that exact link. And then, of course, many health options out there as well. Frontierfarm.com, our link in the description for chlorine dioxide. Use code WHAM, W-A-M. And, of course, you know, we have a billion other options, but I do want to let people know I'm like one of the only people in Canada that's fighting, that's trying to get word out, other than, you know, Press for Truth and a few others, but basically it's us. And I urge people to help support us if you can. This GoGetFunding.com campaign, which is in the description, is about 6 years old, and I want you to understand that, like, all this money didn't come at once, so we are broke, we are bankrupt. You guys are the only thing keeping us alive, and I truly, truly appreciate all that have donated in the past and all that continue to donate in the future, because we could not survive, we could not do videos without you. We have Patreon and Subscribestar, where if you pledge $5 a month or more, you'll get exclusive content, including our Sunday live show every Sunday at 2 p.m. PDT. We do a live show, and we appreciate those that help and support us there. Again, you know, we have an hour and a half or 2 to 2.5 hour long shows, interviews in some of them, long form reports, Q&As. Please go and check that out and support us. We have a PayPal address, ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com. We have a Bitcoin address that you can scan on the screen here or check out in the description below. We really, really need help there, my friends. We have our Cointree link linked below as well. And, of course, we have a Teespring store with a bunch of merchandise. So, as always, go and check those links in the description, my friends. And find us on Telegram, though I'm locked out of it right now. I'm working on getting back in there. BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and Brighteon at World Alternative Media. We're on Hive, Steemit, and Vigilante.tv at Josh Sigurdsson. And on the Bad Guys TikTok and Instagram, World Alternative Media. Twitter and Getter at World Alt Media. And all the major podcast platforms except for Spotify, where, of course, we are banned. Hit that like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit subscribe if you have not yet already. And as always, my friends, live freely, live by example. That is the whole purpose here. The basis of humanity is individual responsibility. We must determine our future based on that rule right there. This is Josh Sigurdsson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.